Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to a noise gating tutorial. So if you're like me, been playing some video games with the buds and you've ran into needing a bit of a noise gate because some of these games don't have a built-in like post-processing or pre-processing filters of any kind. It's just kind of your mic input and that's it. Any sort of noise you make out here, your mic's gonna hear it. It could be pretty bad depending on your microphone and acoustics situation, like if you have a TV in the background or someone else talking, etc., etc. I'm going to show you how to probably fix all your problems, and let's get into it. So the first thing I'm going to teach you guys about is noise gator. So that's noise gator. Really simple. Threshold is basically how much input is required for it to open or close the noise gate. You have your attack time and release time. If you guys want like a basic reference of the settings that I use 10 and 300. You actually cannot put the attack time lower than 10. I found that it does nothing. So 10 and 300, that's usually what I use on my typical noise gate. Even for my OBS, that's what I have it on. It sounds perfectly fine. I've had no issues out of it. Threshold, for how much threshold you're going to need, is going to depend on your mic. It is going to depend on basically how loud your mic is or how quiet, and also how much room noise you have. So do some testing. I would recommend to be kind of careful and don't go too hard with a noise gate because you'll cut your own words off, and that's bad. That's pretty much all you're going to need if your situation isn't too bad. Now let me teach you about this program. How to basically install it and set it up. You're going to need a virtual audio cable. You see here my output is cable input, VB audio virtual cable. I will have the link to everything in the description of the video. Download that and install it, and you're gonna have to restart your computer. After you restart your computer, load it back up, and if you've downloaded NoiseGator, you're gonna have your executable right here. However, if you guys care about wanting this to start every single time you're turning your computer on and it's just on, your settings are pretty much saved, it's just like this, right? You're gonna have to do some stuff. So first of all, I have this path here, like this is this PC. There's this path here. It's user, your name, AppData, roaming, Microsoft, Windows, start menu, programs, and then startup. I know, I'm going to put that in the description. However, be sure to replace my name with your name. If you don't know what the name of your computer is or whatever, just click your C drive, go to users, and there is your name. Okay? Now, we're in NoiseGator, or we're in the startup here. You have to, first of all, you have to get your settings where you want them before you do this, okay? So once you have your settings of NoiseGator ready, this is where you're going to want it every time. Keep in mind there's also some more settings in here. However, also checkbox drift compensation, because what I've noticed is if you say like a word, right? What's going to happen is you say, hey, and then it'll come out like forever later, and it will get worse and worse and worse as this program is running if you don't have drift compensation on. At least that happened to me. So yeah, drift compensation, turn that on. So minimize on launch, minimize to system tray. That's what I have. There's not going to be any more updates for this. This program is actually pretty old. The voice clarity filter, it's basically like, you can see it's basic dynamic range compression and low cut filter. Be careful with that because it can get really loud and it might distort your mic. These settings here are my own. I boost my mic volume a little bit because my mic is typically quiet because I'm on a Focusrite and I'm trying to not clip. So I have my volume kind of turned down a little bit. But yeah, get your settings good and then close NoiseGator, okay? Once you close NoiseGator, you'll have this here. You'll want to create a shortcut. So just right click, create shortcut. Once you create that shortcut, then drag it into here. I'm not doing that here because I don't want to like accidentally mess my settings up and have to just follow my own tutorial. So yeah, once you're done with that, drag it into here and your settings will start up on Windows with every single time. I don't know if this stuff will work on a different operating system like Mac or Linux or something like that. I'm on Windows 10 64-bit. This does work also on Windows 11 from what I've tried on one of my other computers. So there you go. So one more thing I'd like to punch in here with NoiseGator before we move on to RTX Voice. The auto activate on start does not mean it's going to start with your Windows and have all your settings saved. That thing I showed you where you have to come in here and, you know, copy paste this and put the shortcut in there, that is what does that. The only thing that the auto activate on start did for me was just make sure that when NoiseGator is open like this, it's actually working, like it's like the activate button is activated instead of like you have your settings set up and it's not doing anything. Then you have to click the activate button. This just automatically makes it activate. You still have to do the other thing to actually have Windows, you know, bring it up when you start your computer, right? Okay. RTX voice time. If your situation's kind of bad and you're still getting like stuff going on in the background and your threshold's opening, but you have your threshold so high that it's just cutting you off too, but you still have things going on in the background, here's part 2. You guys are going to need to link NVIDIA RTX Voice up to NoiseGator. RTX Voice, you can use it on an RTX card or a GTX card. There's 2 different versions of this. Like, I'm on an RTX 3070 Ti. However, I still use the standalone and not like the NVIDIA broadcast. So if we open up NVIDIA RTX Voice here, you'll see this. Now, obviously, my mic input for NoiseGator, I'm using the line in, which I have kind of a complicated audio setup, but just ignore that. It's just your basic microphone, right? It's just microphone. Input device will be your microphone. You click that, and then all you do is you click this. I'm not going to click that because I'm also recording in OBS right now, and my mic would stop working. So you just click remove background noise from the microphone, and then to link that to NoiseGator, you will come over here and you will click on, let me find it. Let's see here. Microphone, NVIDIA RTX Voice. Once you click that, I'm not going to click it because that's not in my setup right now. My setup's not too loud at the moment. You're done. That's pretty much it. NVIDIA RTX Voice will just link up to NoiseGator. You have your NoiseGator set to NVIDIA RTX Voice, and then you will have that output to cable input, VB audio, virtual audio cable. Then when you load your game up, make sure that you have your mic in the game set to the cable input, VB audio, virtual audio cable, and it will use this instead of your raw mic or something that is the thing that's having the problem, right? You need your noise gate, and if you're needing that extra push, the NVIDIA RTX Voice will add that extra layer of removal. The RTX Voice removes things like if you clap, or if you have like a really loud keyboard and your keyboard's still coming through the NoiseGator, or if you cough. I've actually coughed before, and it wouldn't even like open the noise gate at all. Or if somebody else is in the background, like in my situation where my wife also plays games with us, and she's like right over there, and it won't even hear her at all, and it will just cut all that completely out. It's actually pretty nice. So if you guys are playing games with like the proximity chat and stuff like that, and you're having some problems with needing a noise gate, that is not something that's just in OBS, but you need it like universally, like for your operating system. Try NoiseGator. NVIDIA RTX Voice is like an extra layer. You don't have to do that. If you guys have any questions or need help, hit me up. Links of everything should be in the description. And happy gaming.